Close your eyes for just a moment. Don't rush. Breathe in slowly, and then breathe out, because what I'm about to show you isn't just a city. It's a living, breathing, ancient, contradictory, magnificent organism that has been pulling people toward it for over 2,000 years. Emperors built walls around it. Vikings tried to burn it. The plague swept through its narrow alleys. The Blitz tore open its skyline, and yet, every single time, London rose quietly, stubbornly, almost arrogantly. It rose. Today, you are standing at the edge of all of that history. Today, this city belongs to you. Not to the tourists queuing behind velvet ropes, not to the guidebooks that send everyone to the same 3 postcards. To you. So here is what we are going to do. We are going to walk into London the way locals walk into it, with a little bit of knowledge, a lot of curiosity, and absolutely no rush. Forget the map for now. The map will come later. First, just feel the weight of this place. Feel how the city hums, even before it fully wakes up. Feel how the Thames carries centuries of memory in its brown, tidal water. Today is yours. All 24 hours of it. Let's begin. It's early. Unreasonably early. The kind of early where the sky over London isn't quite black anymore, but hasn't committed to any real color either. It's that deep, bruised indigo that happens right before the city remembers it's supposed to be alive. You're walking out of wherever you're staying, and the air hits you first. London morning air is something specific. It carries cold, yes, but also dampness. The kind that sits in your lungs in a way that feels almost comforting, ancient. Like you're breathing the same damp morning air that a Victorian street sweeper once breathed in this exact neighborhood. The streets are nearly empty. A night bus rumbles past, orange and glowing, carrying the last of the night shift workers home. A fox, don't be startled, trots across the pavement at the end of the road, glances at you with total indifference, and disappears between 2 wheelie bins. This is London welcoming you. Not with fanfare, with a fox and a rumbling bus. You're heading toward the river. Always start with the river. Make your way to Embankment, or better yet, cross Hungerford Bridge on foot. The pedestrian walkway sits alongside the railway bridge, and as you step onto it and walk toward the South Bank, something extraordinary happens. The city opens up around you. To your left, the dome of St. Paul's floats above the roofline, still lit from below, glowing golden against the blue-black sky. To your right, the London Eye stands enormous and still, its white structure catching the earliest pale light. Below you, the Thames moves. It always moves. The water is dark and wide, and if you stop walking and grip the railing and just look down for a moment, you will feel the whole weight of London pressing in from both sides of the river. 2,000 years of it, the Roman settlement of Londinium on the north bank, the old pleasure gardens and bear-baiting pits of Southwark to the south. Let it land. You are standing on top of all of that history, and the river doesn't care. It just keeps moving, as it always has. Now cross over to the south bank completely and walk east along the riverside path. The sky is changing. There is a thin line of orange appearing above the buildings on the north bank. Just a suggestion of sunrise, like someone behind the city is slowly turning up a dimmer switch. The Tate Modern's old chimney stack comes into view. That enormous, brutal, beautiful turbine hall, converted into one of the world's greatest art spaces. You are not going in yet. Just walk past it and feel its mass beside you. Then keep walking until you reach Borough Market. It's just beginning to stir. Metal shutters are being rolled up with a clang that echoes off the Victorian railway arches above. A trader is stacking blood oranges into a pyramid with the focused precision of someone who has done this 10,000 times. The smell reaches you before anything else. Roasting coffee, bread from somewhere deep inside the market. Something spiced and warm you can't quite identify. Walk in. Don't plan. Just walk in. Find the coffee first. There will be a stall with a hand grinder, and the person behind the counter will ask you what kind of roast you prefer, and actually wait for your answer. Take your coffee with both hands. It'll be hot enough that you can feel it through the paper cup, warming your palms in the cold morning air. Now, fine bread. There'll be a sourdough loaf with a crust so thick that when the baker breaks it open in front of you, The sound, that hollow, cracking, resonant sound, will make people around you turn their heads. Get a piece with salted butter and eat it standing up. Right there, leaning against one of the old stone pillars under the arches. The butter melts into the warm bread faster than you'd expect. The coffee is bitter and round and perfect. Above you, a train rumbles over the railway bridge, shaking the old iron structure gently. This is breakfast in London. Cross London Bridge and stop in the middle of it. Look east, and you will see Tower Bridge. Its blue and grey towers framing a stretch of river that has seen Roman galleys, Tudor warships, and the entire history of British maritime trade. Now, look west, and you will see the dome of St. Paul's and the Shard rising behind you from the south bank, and a dozen more towers in the city of London, the old square mile, the original Roman city, where the ancient streets are so narrow and crooked that they still follow paths laid out by feet and cartwheels. 15 centuries before the first skyscraper was even imagined, there are ghosts on this bridge. Not the theatrical kind, the human kind, made of the weight of all the people who have crossed this exact stretch of water, in every era, for every reason. Cross into the city of London and walk towards St. Paul's. Don't go inside yet. Instead, walk around it. The cathedral sits on Ludgate Hill, the highest point in the old city, and Wren designed it so that you would approach it and feel progressively smaller as its scale becomes real to you. Stand at the base of one of its columns and tilt your head back. The stone is warm-colored, pale and cream, and the details carved into it are extraordinary. Floral swags and cherubs and classical motifs that have been sitting up there since the 1690s. Then walk through the back streets of the city toward Barbican. Those brutalist towers and walkways and artificial lakes that look like someone dropped a 1970s vision of utopia into the middle of medieval London. It is garring. It is incredible. Walk through the elevated walkways. Let yourself get a little lost. This is exactly the kind of hidden London that most visitors never find. You're hungry again? Good. Make your way toward Maltby Street Market, a smaller, less touristy cousin of Borough Market that runs beneath the railway arches of Bermondsey. There will be a stall selling salt beef bagels, thick slices of cured beef stacked so high the bagel can barely close, with a smear of mustard and gherkins on the side. Eat it. The salt beef is the flavor of Jewish East London, the flavor of generations of immigrants who arrived in this city with nothing and built entire communities in the shadow of the docks. Every bite carries that history. There will also be a vendor selling hot bone broth in paper cups. Golden, deep, intensely savory, and you should get one. Stand in the arch, hold your cup of broth, and watch the city's weekend population move around you. Young couples, older men with dogs, cyclists, locking up their bikes, a group of students arguing loudly about something with total joy. This is the moment. Right here, in the warmth of the railway arch, broth in hand, the city swirling around you. If this is landing for you, if you're feeling what I hoped you would feel when we started this journey together, then do something for me. Hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below. Has London ever surprised you? Tell me the moment. I read every single one. After the market slowed down, this is the instruction. Deliberately, consciously, slow down. Make your way into Bloomsbury, the quiet, bookish, slightly rumpled neighborhood of Georgian squares and university buildings and the British Museum. But before you go inside, find Russell Square. Sit on one of the wooden benches. Look at the plane trees around you. London's characteristic trees, with their patchy, peeling bark that looks like camouflage, their enormous spreading canopies. The square is calm in a way that central London rarely manages to be. Now go into the British Museum, but here is the instruction that matters most. Do not try to see all of it. It is physically impossible, and trying will hollow you out. Instead, go directly to the Rosetta Stone. Stand in front of it for longer than feels comfortable. This object, this dark gray granite slab, is the reason we can read ancient Egypt. For over 1,000 years, hieroglyphics were completely undecipherable. Then this stone was found, and everything changed. It is smaller than you expect. It sits behind glass in a room full of people photographing it. And if you stop photographing and just look at the stone itself, at the three scripts carved into its surface, you feel something very strange. The feeling of language stretching backward and forward through time simultaneously. Leave the museum and walk north toward Primrose Hill. Take the northern line to Camden Town and walk up. The hill itself is a wide, open green space that rises above the city. And when you reach the top, the view that opens below you is one of the most cinematic things London offers. The entire city skyline fans out to the south. You can see the Shard, the Gherkin, the Dome of St. Paul's, and on clear days the hills beyond. Find a patch of grass. Sit down. The light at this hour is beginning to go golden. The sun is angling lower. And from this hill, London looks extraordinary. Not overwhelming, not intimidating, but somehow comprehensible. You can see the whole shape of it. You understand why people never stop arriving here. Come back down as the late afternoon deepens. Walk along the edge of the lake in Regent's Park and watch the light change on the water. The quality of the London sky is particular. Cloudy often, yes, but the clouds act like enormous spreading the light out softly across everything, eliminating harsh shadows, giving the whole city a painterly quality. Turner painted the Thames. In this light, Constable painted the sky above Hampstead in this light. The smell of the park in late afternoon is cut grass and damp earth and something faintly floral. Let it slow your pulse. Let the city breathe you for a moment, instead of the other way around. Now go east toward Shoreditch and Brick Lane. This is the East End. Completely different in texture and atmosphere. An atmosphere from the West End. The streets are narrower here. The buildings older and more scarred, covered in murals and paste-ups and political stencils. Brick Lane smells of cumin and coriander and diesel from the delivery vans. The brick walls are the color of dried blood. The original Victorian red brick that predates everything. The brick that the Bangladeshi community who made this neighborhood their home built their lives around. Find a curry house and go in for dinner. Not the one with the loudest tout at the door, but the one that looks slightly too small and has handwritten menus. Order a lamb karahi or a dal makhani and let the heat of the spice build slowly in your chest. The bread will come in a stack, hand-pulled, slightly charred from the tandoor. Tear it and dip it. This is dinner. After dinner, walk slowly back toward the river. The night has settled completely now, and London at night is a different city. Not darker exactly, but differently lit. More theatrical, more private. Walked back over Waterloo Bridge and stop at the highest point of the arc. Look east. Tower Bridge is lit blue and white against the black sky, reflected in long trembling columns in the water below. Look west. The Houses of Parliament and the great clock face of Elizabeth Tower glow gold at the bend of the river, exactly as they have for nearly 200 years. There are barges on the Thames, and the lights of the South Bank ripple in the wake they leave behind. And here, you stop, just here, in the middle of the bridge, with the whole city lit around you. You have walked its streets from before dawn to deep into the night. You have eaten its bread and its salt beef and its curry. You have stood inside its greatest museum and on top of its highest open hill. You have breathed its damp, cold, ancient air. And now, from this bridge, looking at Elizabeth Tower on your left and the Shard on your right, the medieval and the modern holding the same skyline, you understand something about London that cannot be written in any guidebook. It doesn't try to reconcile its contradictions. It just holds them, all at once, all the time. The Roman and the futurist, the working class and the aristocratic, the local and the global. It is possibly the most human city on earth, because it contains everything humans have ever been. Tonight, you are part of it. Tonight, you belong to London. And London, just a little bit, belongs to you. Sleep well. Well. Sleep well. Because next week, we are going somewhere that will make your jaw drop from the moment you step off the plane. Where are we going? That is the question you are going to spend the whole week thinking about.